Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amir Faiz. I'm a Java developer and today I'd like to talk about ACID. What does it mean? In computer science, in the context of database, as a developer you should be aware of how it functions, what transactions are, and so forth. So ACID is a set of properties that can guarantee your data validity in case of any errors or power failure. So let's get down to it. So what is transaction? As a developer, you have experienced so many operations that actually engage with databases. So transaction is a single logical unit of work in a database context. Whenever you read data, you update a record in a table, or when you're doing multiple alterations on multiple tables, you are actually dealing with transactions. So using transactions, you can access or possibly modify the contents of your database. And in order to maintain consistency in a database before and after transaction, certain properties are followed. These are called ACID properties. So the first one would be atomicity. This means that either your entire transaction takes place at once or it doesn't happen at all. There is no midway. Transactions do not occur partially. Each transaction is considered as one unit and either runs to completion or is not executed at all. It means if anything goes wrong during your transaction execution, it gets aborted and nothing happened to your content, your database content, your tables or your records, or everything goes well and it gets committed and changes made visible to your contents. Imagine a situation in which I take some money from you and I'm supposed to give that to another person, and in between I refuse to do that, so you're the one that actually lose money. But in here we're talking about data integrity and consistency, and we're about to lose that. If the next one would be consistency. This means that the integrity constraints must be maintained so that the database is consistent before and after the transaction. It refers to the correctness of a database. It simply means that if just before you actually reduce anything from someone's account balance and add it to another one, the amount of two records, the amount of balances of two accounts should be added to a specific amount of X. And after doing your transaction, your modification, then again, it should be, yes, it should be X again. Otherwise, we're going to actually lose consistency in our database. So what is isolation? In a real world example, we have so many different transactions doing their job simultaneously, concurrently. And by this property, we are certain that any changes made by any transaction is not visible to another one until they are committed and written to the memory. So we can have that consistency that we want in our database. And the last one is durability. This property ensures that once the transaction has completed execution, the updates and modifications, it means that anything that actually we've done through a transaction um, are stored and written to disk, and they persist even if a system failure occurs. These updates now become permanent and are stored in non-volatile memory. The effects of the transaction loss are never lost, and it's pretty straightforward, and it means that after our transaction gets committed, everything gonna persist in our hard drive in a non-volatile memory. So in case of any power failure, any error, and everything happens that cause our system to crash, we have our data available to us. And finally, I'd like to talk about one significant feature in so many RDBMSs, and that would be write-ahead logging, or WAL. It's a mechanism that ensures us that before writing anything permanently into disk, it actually writes the logs for our transactions, and in case of any power outage or any incident, it compares its data inside the log with the actual database, and if there's any mismatch, it can roll back the transaction, or if anything went well, it can roll forward or commit the transaction. And in that way, which is beneficial, we can be sure that our durability is covered. So well done. Thank you for watching my video. I hope it's useful. If you like my videos, you can hit the subscribe button or you can like my videos. Thank you so much.